Hey, you lukewarm egoists. Subscribe to Suki. Or don't. Be a joke of a striker all your life if you want. Or be a strong egoist by subscribing right now. Your choice.
Okay, what if the prodigy of Japan got scouted and accepted by Italy's Ubers instead of Spain's Real, like in the original story? How would this affect his character development and the Blue Locker's growth in the NEL? We will explore this today. Happy Saitober. Before I get into this video structure, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to interact with me, more, join the Discord channel. We got lots of more Blue Lock fans over there. So we will talk about how Sae ends up in Ubers, his character breakdown, how he will develop new abilities, and how he affects the matchups. Okay, so why does he even choose Ubers in the first place? It's easier than the Rin and Isagi video I did with Akira, as we know the only reason he left Japan was because he got scouted, which was by Real. I'm pretty sure any major European club who would have scouted him, he would have accepted in no time, as it's way better than Japan. So Sae wouldn't be as hyped as this because it isn't the best club in the world, but it's a step up. Character breakdown before the NEL. Now, before we get into the NEL, we have to discuss some factors. First of all, Sae doesn't get swayed into the midfielder path, which changes a whole lot of things, which you have to go way back to talk about. It would mean Sae wouldn't be as depressed when he's giving the news to Rin, which means no depressing 1v1. That would mean Sae would spend more time with Rin after that night and would spend some time with him watching over his training before he heads back to Italy. Sae would tell Rin to stop copying him as well while he's at it, as it would limit his potential, because Sae is still aiming to become the world's best striker, so Rin would still not take him seriously, as Rin's goal is still to become the number 2 striker, so why wouldn't he copy the number 1 world best striker, in his opinion? Sae would join the U20 Japan team so he can test Rin in the first half of the game. Similarly to Canon, Sae would score 2 goals this time around, and Blue Lock would score 2 as well, making the score level at the halftime. So both teams' morales would be pretty similar. However, in this version, Sae doesn't need to pick up a world-class striker in Shido or in anyone, since he is a striker himself. He wouldn't have any reason to play in the second half because there's no Shido to inspire him. So Blue Lock actually slaughters the U20 team in this version 7-2. Now he is in the NEL. He would be similar to the player he was in Canon, except his playmaking skills wouldn't be as high. For example, his no interval passing, that was always done because of Spain, perhaps, because when we look at him as a kid, he was more of a dribble pass player, and he would try to send passes to people, but they could never read up to it, except for Rin. But he would always do slow passes with Rin and would just want Rin to pick up the tempo. This is similar to how Ubers play, where they slow tempo it and build it up to the ball where the striker scores. That's kind of how it was, so I'm going to go with that interpretation that Sae still plays in that old style. Okay, now for his position himself. He would be a hybrid of an inside forward and a playmaking winger. He would benefit from cooking defenders in 1v1 scenarios and also sending passes to other attackers if necessary. Sae's stratum development. Okay, so he would have a hard time working freely with Bao trying to devour his plans. I think Snuffy would take Sae as his successor over Bao, so Bao might not get as much love as he did in Canon. This puts this what if in a tough scenario, as Bao might not learn Predator Eyes. Sae would treat everyone besides Lorenzo and Snuffy like pets. The whole system would be built around Sae, and unless Bao gives in to Snuffy's request, this system will be ran by the 2 new Gen 11s. New abilities / wisdom. Snuffy would give Sae the same life story he gave to Bao. This would make Sae worry about his brother Rin, as his brother's ego was fragile like Moon. Because if something ever were to happen to Sae, Rin would give up there and then. So now into what he would learn first. It's Predator Eyes. This relies on your central vision targeting a certain area. This isn't solely used on shooting, as you can use it on passing, defending, or even trash talking a glazer. Sae would learn that and the stealth kill shot if he hadn't learned it already. The shooting technique Rin and Bao use, where they kinda like use a bunch of bodies to be in the way of the goalkeeper, so the goalkeeper wouldn't understand what's going on, and then they will shoot when the goalkeeper is off guard. So yeah, if Sae didn't have it already, he would also get Metavision as well. And I'm pretty sure everyone and their grandmothers know what it is. It's the peripheral version, taking the 3D or 4D side of the field and inputting information and leading you up to the best point of the pitch. Okay, so now that we have that set in stone, we also need to talk about Predator Eyes. Bao had Predator Eyes, he just needed to master it, as we saw him have a slit of it in episode Nagi. When I say learn Predator Eyes, I kind of mean to like consciously use it, not like learn it for the first time ever, because like Metavision, Isagi subconsciously used it, Bao subconsciously used Predator Eyes. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they've known about it, they just didn't know how to consciously use it, if that makes sense. Now let's get into this matchup. For PXG vs Ubers, remember when Sae left in the middle of the match? Yeah, Rin would have felt abandoned, which means we could potentially see Rin starting to have bitter feelings towards his brother. Sae would play this game, but Bao wouldn't play this game like in canon. Now you think since Ubers got Sae, this would be a walk in the park, and that's not the case. As if we get Destroyer mode Rin in this game and Charles and Lorenzo playing as well, it'll be a nasty day for everyone. Charles will have a field day with Rin and Shido at their nastiest stages, however it won't be a walk in the park for PXG, as they got IQ who with the help of Ryu can hold down Shido from doing too much damage, and Lorenzo can hold off Rin pretty fairly, but not Destroyer Rin, as he definitely bagging a goal or two. He may be able to bag free, who knows. I could see Sae bagging a hat trick before Rin and Shido score 2 goals if Uber's absurd defense really works, and plus Sae could use Metavision and sometimes track back to help stop Rin. Kawasu ain't doing nothing to the new Gen 11 duo of Lorenzo and Sae. That duo will be hard to stop considering that Sae could also do his own build-up plays and not have to rely on Lorenzo to do all the work. However, this duo has one problem. If they don't have a perfect pathway to go and get dispossessed, they're going to be so disarranged because Lorenzo's still going to be up in the feud that IQ and RU are not going to be able to handle both Rin and Shido coming their way. Which means Rin could snipe a goal like he did in chapter 169 and no one else would be prepared for that. Or Charles can snipe a high pinpoint precise pass to Shido. So yeah, if Rin, Carousel, and Charles lock in on defense, they can win. If they don't, Ubers win. However, I feel like PXG will win because if Charles and Lorenzo don't play, Ubers don't have the Lorenzo X Sae combination and Sae can't solo dribble for a whole team. Unless he can, who knows. If Charles and Lorenzo do play, but I think Destroyer mode Rin finally coming to life for the first time in the Blue Lock story since childhood would be an unexpected trump card that Ubers wouldn't be able to stop. Uber's main weakness are wildcard factors, so PXG having that wildcard factor and Rin will seal them the win. Okay, Ubers versus FC Barcher. Now, you guys are expecting Bao to have a hat trick, and with Sae there, maybe he doesn't get a hat trick and he gets a goal. However, he doesn't even play. This is because Snuffy isn't as interested in making Bao his successor because he has Sae, and Sae has already been in Italy. Also, Lorenzo talking to Bao was a huge influence in Bao trying Snuffy's work. So without Snuffy being super interested in Bao to succeed him after he retires, since he would have known about Sae being in the U20 Ubers team before Blue Lock even started, I could see Snuffy taking less interest in him. Lorenzo would be more interested in his new Gen 11 companion than Bao, and Bao, who still wouldn't want to budge, who would not budge for this game either. So Sae would get a hat trick, so now Sae has 5 NEL goals. Against Basin Muchin, Bao would finally give Snuffy's work a try because he would not skip the opportunity to crush Isaki, which would be under one condition, that Snuffy teaches him the stealth kill shot. Remember, I didn't say Predator Eyes because Bao subconsciously has that. He just needs to learn the best technique that Predator Eyes can suit for him, which is the stealth kill shot. Okay, Bayern München versus Ubers. This match will be intense and we got a problem. Sendo would have to commit to the left midfielder spot as Bao would be the new shadow striker trying to devour Sae, and Sae is the main striker. The match would start out the same way in canon, Lorenzo and Sae trading passes. This playstyle would be the type that Rin and Sae used to perform as kids before Sae left Japan, for those wondering. Isagi would intercept the pass and get a goal the same way he did in canon with his lefty direct shot. Bao would score his first NEL goal the same way he did in canon, as he would intercept the pass going to Sae and go for his own stealth kill shot, equalizing the game 1-1. I'm pretty sure Kaiser would get his goal in the same way he did in canon with his insane bicycle kick to get the game 2-1. Snuffy and Noah would come on due to Sendo's cramp, Kanali getting clapped, and Corona getting gassed out like Joe Goldberg in 8 seconds. The elite duo of Snuffy X Sae would do some serious damage to Bastard Muchin, who barely survived the demolition of Ubers that they did in the canon without Sae Itoshi. Now with him, they could low-key get 2 goals within the Master Striker time, but I think they will only get 1 as soon because when Sae scores, I could see Baston Munchin playing Park the Bus until the time runs out, but I believe the winner of this match will depend on who has the awakening first, Hiyori or Barrow. However, there's a problem. Barrow until his awakening would be playing in Snuffy system, which means he wouldn't be playing defense. And Sae only played defense like twice in the exhibition match, so don't expect him to help as much, especially with him being a striker and this being a low stake game. So I can actually see BM winning this match 6 times out of 10. It just depends on if Barrow awakens in time. Now, the last match is a massacre on Sunshine City as they will lose 3-1. It was only bad without Sae, and now Sae just makes it so much quicker. Okay, in conclusion, Ubers with Sign would get 2 confirmed wins, 2 hypothetical wins, depending on the circumstances. Yeah, Sai gets like what? I think he gets 7 NEL goals in this timeline. That's pretty good, especially on a defensive team like Ubers. So Sai really gets his dominance, and it's also because Bao was being Bao on this timeline, but extra Bao because no advice was given to him to like there was not a lot of pressure for Bao to actually join the team unlike Canon where Lorenzo and Snuffy were really on him to join the system, so that also affects things. Sai affects a lot of things. He makes Ren go crazy. But not as crazy as he did in Canon. Yeah, there's a lot of things that changed. Sai wouldn't be the menacing midfielder if he stayed a striker, which means he wouldn't be sending no snipe passes from immediately receiving the ball. There's just so much that changes with Sai joining Ubers. Sai is more relaxed, composed. He doesn't have the Luna or Bunny situation on him right now. He has much more chill leaders with him. So I think Sai would still be like aiming for La Real Dome, but that's just another story for another day. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was really fun for the members who are watching. I think there's only 2. If there's more new members, I'd like to welcome you to the membership side of the channel where we will be getting more exclusive videos. But for now, stay blessed. Suki out.